Hello, I am Toon Comics, and thanks for tuning in. On today's episode, I'll just be reading the first chapter of my comic book, Hero 500. This took me about 2 weeks to make, and now I'll just be going over some of the pages. But if you ever want to fully read it, you can just pause the video at any time and read it on your own. But other than that, I'm just gonna be doing like voiceover, sort of like how the Comic Historian channel does it, except I'm gonna put my own little spin on it. While Elaine is scrolling on her phone, she come across an article talking about the lust hero Cupid. Polly says that her last known body count was 29. Newt also says that she's pretty hot. Dex asks if he's the only one actually looking for this thing, while Jess proceeds to actually find what they are looking for. She apologizes and offers to take the guys out to Big Hero's Buffet, her treat. While on their way to Big Hero's Buffet, they stop and hear a noise. It's a woman crying out for help. The woman goes up to Jess and Jess says, "Is everything okay? Can you tell us what happened?" The woman stops crying for a second and tells the group that they are going to kill her dad, and she asks if they have powers and see if they can help. Elaine, without missing a beat, says, "Of course we will help," and Dex tells her not to be so enthusiastic about it. A local villain is threatening a store clerk. The clerk tells him that he can't afford to pay him right now. He's already bankrupt. The local villain tells him that's not his problem, while Jess proceeds to jump in and punch the villain in the face, knocking him to the ground. Elaine proceeds to say it's time to be heroes in a dramatic superhero pose. The villain says, "What are you waiting for? Kill these damn kids." Newt does not like being called a kid, and in retaliation, he uses his tongue attack to knock out one of the villains. While the woman from earlier goes up to her father and asks if he is okay, he says he is, and he asks how did she manage to find five heroes so shortly. She says she didn't find five heroes, she just found five random teens with powers, but she thinks that they have potential to be great heroes one day. He says he thinks so too. And as the final villain is knocked out with a chipmunk uppercut from Polly, the main bad guy is running out of there, saying he has to tell his boss what is going on. That the heroes are back. Jess is overjoyed at being called a hero by the villains. Newt quickly interrupts and says, "What do we do about the others?" While the others are tied up with an invisible rope by Elaine, and Jess proceeds to ask Dex if he could give her a hand, which he does. The man from earlier thanks them for saving him and says he wants to repay them. Polly says they can't possibly accept it, but the man insists. You see, the old man was not just a normal store clerk, he was actually a custom tailor for superhero suits. And he says that these five teens have the potential to save this town. And he asks Elaine if she is the fearless leader of this group. She proceeds to tell him that she is definitely not qualified to be the leader of a team, but only in French. So the rest of the team decides unanimously that Jess should be the leader of the team because she is the most into the superhero stuff. So with Jess as the leader, the rest of them go on a montage of getting their custom superhero suits made by getting sewing materials, going over different costume designs, getting measurements, new getting his tongue stapled to the fabric, and now it's time for them to suit up. And they all do a very dramatic superhero suit up. And the old man says, "You're ready." So as they are looking down, they see the villain from earlier. They see his boss. They see the weapons, the drugs, the money, the goons, and they are thinking, are they underprepared for this? And Jess says, "Psh, nah, now it's time to be heroes." So while they are perched above the building that they're finna jump into, Dex wants to ask Jess a question. She asks if this can wait until after the bad guy butt kicking. But Dex says it's about the bad guy butt kicking. Do they have a plan or are they just going to Leroy Jenkins it? And Newt says he wants the Leroy Jenkins plan. Jess says no, they do not have a plan. Then she proceeds to tell them sometimes to soar like an eagle, you just have to wing it as they bust through the roof into the bad guy's main lair. The big bad guy is obviously not happy about five teenagers busting into his hideout and proceeds to tell his men to kill those damn heroes. This is his city now. Elaine proceeds to put up a wall to protect her friends and herself from the bullets, and Newt proceeds to slap one of the armed guards, causing him to shoot multiple shots. The shots that the goon has fired proceeds to take out one of the shelves containing grenades and paint, which also proceeds to take out three guards. Dex just looks confused and asks, "What are the odds?" Polly proceeds to tell him, "It's comic book logic. It's bet you don't think too hard about it." But before they can even utter another word, a guard sneaks up behind each of them, and each other proceeds to take it out, looking after one another. Dex proceeds to thank Polly with a kiss on the cheek for always looking after his back. Polly proceeds to tell him to knock it off, save the kisses for later. They still have bad guys to fight. While Elaine, on a train, proceeds to crash into a wall, allowing all the other villains to escape, which they just run out of there without even fighting. While Jess is having more than enough fun shooting lasers at bad guys who deserve it, the big boss says he ain't finna be done in by some damn kids. And then Newt proceeds to say, "They are not kids. This is the second time this has happened today." Jess shoots a laser, destroying his Tommy gun and pushing the big bad guy to the ground. The big bad guy says, "Who the hell are you?" While Jess confidently says, "We are." Who are we again? Everyone is silent until Newt chimes in saying, "She's joking, right? We made it this far without a team name." Dex also chimes in saying, "That should have been the first thing we did. Step one, come up with a team name. Step two, get costumes." Everyone proceeds to throw out some team names, but nobody is liking them so far. So the big bad guy sees this as an opportunity to escape. But before he gets too far, Dex goos him to a wall, telling him to shush. Jess says she has a perfect team name, Hero 500. If they all give 100% of their best to being heroes, they will be the best. Dex says mathematically it doesn't make sense, but he likes the sentiment. Elaine says she likes the name Hero 500. It has a nice ring to it. Polly asks if they should go public about this or should they stay hidden. And Jess says, "Why not both?" Newt doesn't understand how could they be both hidden and public. Jess proceeds to say, "Don't you worry, just follow my lead." The next day, a news reporter is covering a story about the Brothers Hand and how majority of the members have escaped and are yet to be found, and how it seems that a group of heroes calling themselves Hero 500 are to thank for this, but the police do not seem to be wanting to call them heroes and instead call them vigilantes. The news reporter says that she is thankful that some heroes are looking out for us little guys. Jess proceeds to turn off the TV and says, "That's how," while the rest of them just sit back and relax at a job well done. This is the first chapter of Hero 500, and there will be more on the way. It just took me about like 2 weeks to make this one chapter, and it took me a long time to record the audio for this. It took me longer than normal, but I really hope you enjoyed it, and I will probably be doing a Hero 400 update maybe once a month. But anyway, that's all I really have to say. I really hope that you enjoyed this because this was, again, my first time making an actual comic book and doing voiceovers like this. And my voice is kind of starting to go because I've been doing this for like an hour at this point. I've been recording audio for an hour for like less than 10 minutes of entertainment. But anyway, enough about that. I really hope you enjoyed Hero 400 again. And I would just like to say thank you for everyone who has supported this just with like kind comments and stuff. That stuff really just like that what motivates me to do stuff like this. And that's all I really have to say. Thanks for tuning in, but now it's time for me to tune out.